If you think we don't like white people, I think Carl Niehaus will give you answers. We don't like racists. We don't like white people who think they are above black people. But if you are prepared to share the land like Carl Niehaus, then we will recognize you as an African.
El Dorado Park, we all know, is part of all the racist areas that were created by a racist group, Areas Act, that said colors must go this side, African this side, Indians this side. They wanted to divide us and not allow us to see ourselves as one thing. They did so in the 50s. And they said, you are colored, I'm an African, he's an Indian. But we're all oppressed. Why, when we are different, are we oppressed the same? So it means standing here is not an African, it's a colored. Because colored means oppressed. Blacks means oppressed. Indian means oppressed. And we are all the products of oppression. And we must never see each other through the color of our skin. We must see ourselves through the conditions we live in. My children and your children are born into unemployment. You know that my children can go to school in El Dorado Park. They will be referred to these days silently as kafirs. They will not call them kafirs openly, but they look at them and say, these kafirs will not get this high position. These kafirs will not get this business opportunity. All of that goes back to those who were privileged under oppression. So we were all rejected. We were all exploited. We were all abused. And alcoholism and drug abuse was introduced not only in El Dorado Park, everywhere else where you found the oppressed people. So El Dorado Park is known for fighting, and the people of El Dorado Park are known for not being scared to confront an oppression. And that's why this area has got a good history in the struggle against apartheid. So the people of El Dorado Park and Soweto have been fighting shoulder to shoulder to defeat an apartheid government. That's why it will be wrong for anyone to say the people of Soweto must benefit more than the people of El Dorado Park. We have to benefit the same way because we were oppressed the same way. We have to fight unemployment, poverty, crime, alcohol, drug abuse, which is what affects all of us. What brings us together is that we don't own the banks, we don't own the land, we don't own the industries. Children pass matric, they don't know where to go. That's why they surrender to alcohol and drugs. So we want children of El Dorado Park, to be employed in the public safety, to be metro police as well. We must not just see only African metro police. There is no colored, there is no one who can speak to me in Afrikaans in a manner that I can feel represented in the police force of Johannesburg. The same goes to the health. When we go to health, MMC, Enima Kafula must make sure that they say they are going to operate a satellite clinic in the retirement village. But you cannot open a satellite village which is going to be operated by people who can speak our language, by people who understand us, by our own children who will not treat us as customers, but treat us as their parents and love us the way people love their own parents. Now, we in the EFF were for everyone. We are for Africans, for coloreds, for Indians, for whites. who are for Christians, who are for Muslims, who are for all the nations, because we believe South Africa is a diverse nation. Now, I hear there was a fool who went around here saying, I don't want Jesus Christ. And I asked these guys, why do they say I don't want Jesus Christ? They say, you said something some other day about Jesus Christ. I said, what is your response when they say you don't love Jesus Christ? They too don't have an answer. I said to them, you must answer them with one thing. When they say Julius Malema doesn't love Jesus Christ, you must tell them Julius Malema built a church of Christ in Sishiwo, where he comes from, in honor of his mother. There is a house of the Lord that I've built with my own hands. And I invited Zuma to go and open that church with me. And Zuma came along. Now, those who have a mind of a rat will not remember that I've built a church, not only one, but many churches. I've made a contribution to make sure that this religion of Christianity prosper as any other religion. So I don't have anything except that myself, I'm a Christian. My religion is Christianity. My church is the Sishiwo Baptist Church. I pay my services there every month so that my funeral can have a pastor. I don't want Mbuyiseni to be borrowed to come and make a prayer at my funeral. So we are for everyone as the EFF. We just don't want racists. We don't like drug lords. The drug lords here in Eldorado Park work with Begikele's police. They distribute drugs through the police vans, and they are protected by the police. We have established a special unit for the first time under Metro Police, under the EFF MMC, a special task force that goes around fighting dangerous criminals. It was here last night where we were fighting toe for toe against drug lords, where we went to liberate a lady who was kidnapped. 2 weeks, police could not find that person. Only the special task force of the Metro Police under the EFF found that lady here in El Dorado Park yesterday. And our MMC, who's the national leader of the EFF, was with the task force on the ground himself. Fighting crime is not a one-night stand, it's a permanent thing. We are going to fight criminals here in El Dorado Park, in Orange Farm, in Sebokeng, in Soweto, Mamelodi, and everywhere in Gauteng, because criminals have taken over our towns and our townships. We need to reclaim those places. We need to make sure that there is sports in El Dorado Park. There must be sports facilities. You can't say to children, don't go and do drugs, and you don't give them an alternative. Because children have got too much energy. That energy must be harnessed. It must be channeled somewhere. If you don't use it, they will go and use it in a wrong place. That's why they must go to school. After school, they must write homework. When they think they are done with the homework, they are at the sports field. When they are done at the sports field, back home, take a shower, sleep, prepare for school. So that energy every time, we know where that energy is monitored and rightfully channeled. Not only that, we want your children to go and learn for free. Whether you are rich or not, whether you are white or not, the only thing that is going to liberate this country is education. Ntate Mandela should not have given us RDP houses in 1994. He should have given us free education. We were going to build our own houses. Because when you look at educated people and you look at the percentage of unemployment amongst educated people is very low. Which means education and employment and empowerment are the same WhatsApp group. They go together. Poverty can be defeated by education. Drugs can be defeated by education. So why do you say people must pay for them to liberate their own future? You cannot buy education the same way you buy bread. There must be a difference between education and bread. Bread is a commodity. Education is a human right that is enshrined and protected by the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. So we want education not only at secondary level, primary and early childhood development, even at the universities. Your children must earn a seat at the university not because you have money, but because their results look good. Just by their results, they must automatically be accepted at tertiary level. We are going to make sure that the children of El Dorado Park get employment. We must demand that every department in Gauteng must be a reflection of how Gauteng looks like. So when you go to a department, there must be a colored person. There must be an Indian person. There must be a white person. There must be African person. How South Africa looks like, that's how a place of employment must look like. For as long as this place of employment has got no colors, it's not a true reflection of South Africa. It's a distortion of South Africa. And therefore and we should not put a quota and say, no, in the whole department we have hired 10% colors is enough. There must be colors in the departments. If they qualify and they are South Africans, they've got a South African ID, let them go in without a quota. The same way we don't go in with quotas, we go in with our qualification. The same thing with Indians. It's very difficult now to find an Indian cop because they have all been wiped out of the system. That's why when people don't see you a lot, they're like, hey, you are so scarce like an Indian policeman. Because it's very difficult to find an Indian policeman. So we need every sector of society to be part of our society. Comrades, we don't want this. This thing of tenders is what is causing problem. You are a security guard, you've got your own certificate. I want a security guard as a government. I go hire a middleman called a businessman who knows nothing about security. He just registered CC. He's got a political connection. He gets a tender to come and hire me. Why is government not hiring me directly? Because when I vote for government, I vote for government directly. I don't vote through a middleman called a company. I'm voting for jobs from my government. I'm voting for a piece of land from my government. I'm voting to stop load shedding from my government. No one was between me and my government. I chose it myself directly. Let my government speak to me and hire me directly without a middleman. You know, here in Johannesburg, and the media loves that because it favors them. They say Mashaba insourced workers in Johannesburg. Mashaba was told by the EFF, because he was our mayor. We said to him, you are going to insource the security guards in Johannesburg. And he insourced the security guards in Johannesburg Today he claims that it was him. I ask him one question. You were sent by the DA into that municipality. Where in the DA do you find a policy that says you must insource the security guards? It was not a DA policy that he was implementing. It was the EFF policy. Why?
One day I said that, luck for them, white men, we black people, we Africans, we don't want to revenge on what their ancestors did to our ancestors. What now Africans we need is an equality. They must know that they are in our land, they must obey, or they must live accordingly to the foreigners. It means we Africans, the style that we want them to live in our continent, they must obey it. That's all we need. And they must left or what they take on us. And they must return what they shifted from us. This is all what we need. We don't want to revenge. We want an equality. So now is the time for African and Africans to know that these things is owned by African, not anyone abroad the continent of Africa. The African properties is for Africans, not for anyone else. So we need to live with them in a good manner, as I said before. That things, all this that is all we want to see, or we want to live in. So, brothers and sisters, king and queens, sons and daughters of Mother Africa, the aim is to share the ideas, and we are not here for campaigning anyone. We are here sharing the ideas that they will shift from where we are now to the Africa that we want. So we need this kind of ideas, not only in some areas of Africa. We see this idea from southern part of Africa. We see good ideas also from western part of Africa. Now we need to see the whole continent of Africa have the same idea and vision. This all will make us reach the agenda what we need to reach, because nothing will make us to reach what we need except from uniting. So, fellow Africans, brothers and sisters, the time for Africa to shift from talking to action is now. And we, current generation, we have this role of making words to action. So I don't have many to speak. I want you also to know, me to know your thought in the comment section. What you think on ideas from Dr. Ndlozi and the Commander-in-Chief Julius Malema on the African. Please let us know your thought in the comment section, and share it to many Africans as you can in the continent. And for those who are in diaspora, make this video reach for them. Thanks for watching. Let us meet on the next episode.